specific to northwestern Ontario. The one that I like a lot. This Mayor Harvey's area. Clean up the lawn, and it's not only Nipigon, but it's Scriber, Bearden, Longline, Marathon, Terrace Bay, and Nipigon, Dory. Clean up the Long Lac and the Goki diversions and their systems. Job creation, offsetting layoffs from the forestry sector, allow for greater flow of water. Again, you know my desire to protect the integrity of the Great Lakes system from Long Lake and the Ogowe diversions into the Great Lakes system. It's an environmental cleanup. Past summer, the water levels in Lake Superior and other Great Lakes reach record lows. These lower levels not only negatively affect the health and well-being of the communities that depend on the water, but also commerce that reduce the capacity for transportation of goods. The action plan that we proposed in this is develop and implement plan to clean up primary rivers and streams in the Ogoki and Long Lake diversion. That's why I'm glad Wardrobe is here today. And their systems, in order to increase flow of water into the Great Lakes and create employment for workers affected by the forestry sector layoffs. The research that is necessary, we estimated after discussions, to be $5 million. We can handle that through this program the Prime Minister announced this week. In fact, I talked to him about it 10 minutes ago. This is one of the things that is specifically meant for it. But the spin-off on that amounts to over $400 million that can be spent if we proceed with what we anticipate will be the results of the research. And that is the increased flow of water into Lake Superior, because we're finally, Mayor, you're going to talk about this, I hope. We're finally going to clean up all the rivers and streams that we've used over 100 years, log runs. There's more trees at the bottom of those rivers than there is still standing. And we're going to clean that up. But who's going to pay? The people who are the best recipients of this program, which is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, and New York State. They all border on the Great Lakes, and they're all going to have to be a participant if they want to realize that we can provide more water than is presently provided through the Great Lakes system. So that's a huge project, and I think it's something that can be doable. That was one of the proposals. The forestry sector workers to work as healthcare professionals. Not an end all or not a be all, but it can, there's some retraining here for younger people in the forestry industry that can be retrained. The nursing, health informatics, medical laboratory technicians. This is a field with a significant and increasing demand for human resources that is currently not being met in Northern Ontario. To provide greater access to health care for residents of Northern Ontario, it will eliminate the problem with youth out-migration, and many adults, students who cannot afford to relocate can take advantage through our ability, long-distance health care, long-distance training. Confederation College has developed the program. This is mind-boggling when you see it, because the most important, I've always said this from, I don't know, for the last 10 years, our most important asset throughout all of Northern Ontario is our college system. It's unbelievably sound, and it's hands-on training. Confederation College, along with its colleges in Northern Ontario, but Confederation College has developed a program, REACH, to deliver a comprehensive community-based healthcare training program throughout Northwestern Ontario. Long-distance learning would be utilized through technologies such as the SkyPack system and a mobile lab. The program will address a healthcare professionals and social services shortage in Northwestern Ontario. Our action plan is to support infrastructure, equipment, and development costs for the REACH program to increase access to training, development, and healthcare in Northern Ontario. And the cost of that program would be $20 million. Well within the guidelines as set by the Prime Minister last Thursday when he gave his speech on this program in New Brunswick. That's how it is applicable on the national level, but also applicable at the local level to assist our community. Mike, where's Mike? Yeah, we all understand that the forestry industry is in an area of transition. We don't know the best use of our fiber anymore. We know that we got to conserve the use of fiber. And we don't have the facilities yet at the Lakehead University, and it was your plan and your leadership at the university that suggested that what we need is an international center of excellence for research and innovation in the sustainable development of our natural resources, which is our forestry. And, you know, it goes on. The two primary research themes of this facility will be developing value-added products based on natural resources and ensuring the environmental sustainability of our natural resource-based industry. We will contribute to the growing knowledge and knowledge-based economy in northwestern Ontario as we go through this transitional period. The action plan would be to provide the funding for the infrastructure requirements for Nord 21 facility at Lakehead University, which is $35.2 million for the new research facility, well within the guidelines as set by the Prime Minister last Thursday in this speech on this program. Well within those guidelines. They're doable if we start working together. That's the important aspect. Throughout Northern Ontario, what I'm trying to impress upon you this morning is the need to work together. The other program that I like very much is the First Nations in Fednor. I see two guys from Fednor. Thanks for coming, guys. First Nations Water and Wastewater Operators Training Program. You've done some of this in Dryden already. It's a marvelous program. In the short term, this will create construction jobs for forestry section workers. In the medium term, this will create training opportunities for forestry sector workers to find employment opportunities as water and wastewater plant operators. In the medium to long term, the program will increase water safety and quality throughout all of Northern Ontario. And we have a guru, at Fednor, who has been the leader in long-distance healthcare, and the technology, and what we've been able to do in long-distance healthcare. And he has said to us, and we have no reason to dispute, is that he's able to set up a program where he can monitor the water supply in every First Nations community in Northern Ontario from one center and be immediate so that we don't have any problems with the purity and the sanctity of our water supply. This is doable. It's a $4.8 billion program. And it fits well within the program as set out by the Prime Minister. So all of those aspects that I've talked about, just a few of them, are things that we can do as a start. And the Prime Minister has wanted me to emphasize to all of you this morning that he's very interested in how we proceed from this point forward. So as a matter of fact, we're going to have to make a report very soon. The other big, and what we've talked about, is the communications in the healthcare field over long distances. We've talked about communications and education. We've talked about excellence at the university and research and development. We've talked about the water. Mayor Harvey, that's critical. Now we're going to talk about how we get people from point to point. And if there's one thing the Prime Minister really noticed in his visits here and when Jack and I and everybody were together, is that we lack a road system. And in this report, and I'm not building, let me absolutely be sure that I don't want to build any expectations, but in the infrastructure program for the future Northwestern Ontario, we've included one area of the Trans-Canada Highway system from Nipigon to, where's Sylvia?